Hey there, everybody. PTPOP here, leading you out of the rabbit hole, one grain of truth at a time. Today, I got a great show for you today. I'm very happy to talk to you about the Keep Call Centers in America Act of 2025. I had not heard of this one. Had you guys heard of this? Let me know in the comments. So I was going through the TikToker call center people videos, and I came up with this guy here, and we're going to get to him in a second here, but he's talking about the call centers, Keep Call Centers in America Act 2025. And let me give you a little bit of an overview of what that is exactly. The Keep Call Centers in America Act of 2025, it aims to prevent the offshoring of call center operations by requiring companies to disclose the location of their customer service agents and making those that relocate call centers overseas ineligible for federal grants and loans. This legislation seeks to promote domestic job creation and increase transparency in customer service communications. And this is from Search Assist on DuckDuckGo, and their references are from Library of Congress and info.siteselectiongroup.com. So, in a nutshell, they're trying to protect our jobs, and this guy goes into a lot of detail of what it's all about here. And this is from callcenter_geek. His name is Tom Laird. This story is from August 4th of this year, and I'm going to play what he's got to say here. It's a 3 minute and 37 second video. And what I'm going to do after that is show you some of these comments that are on here. The comments are kind of freaky, what people really think of us call center reps on the outside. This is another reason I want to get this documentary made, to dispel the myths of the call center people and to I'd like to expose the customers who call and abuse all of us. So let's hear what call center geek Tom Laird has to say here about Keeping Call Centers in America Act.
All right, here's some breaking news and potentially massive news for anyone who is offshoring their contact centers to, say, the Philippines or India or South Africa, right? The BPO industry and kind of the contact center industry in general. Two senators, bipartisan, Senator from Arizona, Senator Gallego, and from West Virginia, Senator Justice, just introduced the Keep Call Centers in America Act. And again, if you're in the BPO world, this could be a real turning point if this thing gets momentum. So here's what this bill says. If you offshore contact center work or hire a partner like a BPO, offshore, you now have to give 120 days notice to the Secretary of Labor that you're offshoring, right?
I didn't know they didn't have to do that to begin with. These companies just do whatever they want, apparently, with absolutely no oversight from the government. And now the government's trying to prevent these jobs from leaving our borders.
Your company then will get added to a public offshoring kind of shame list, I guess, what it sounds like, for 5 years. If you skip that notice and just pretend it doesn't exist, you'll get a $10,000 a day per day fine. Right?
Okay, so how do they find them? So if the company doesn't let them know within 120 days, how would they know to find them? How would they know they're offshoring their workers?
So you need to be on the list if you're doing this. Once you're on that list, though, you lose access to all federal grants and all federally backed loans. And
that's huge, man. That's huge. And these companies this is being put in place to make them think twice about offshoring our jobs. I don't know if it'll work because I don't know how many of these companies actually use federal funding. They must use a lot of it.
A huge deal, right? Because, 75% of all commercial loans in the United States are backed by the federal government.
Oh.
They have some type of federal government guarantee.
There's my answer.
All be gone to these companies that are doing the offshoring. So that's massive, right? And if companies are thinking, well, hey, I'm going to try to grab funding before I move or try to move to offshore, then that's not going to work either because there's a clawback clause in the bill and they'll take that money back.
That's great. But again, how does the federal government know if somebody is offshoring? Is it required by federal law to begin with to let the government know that they're sending jobs offshore? Or can they just do it under the radar without telling anybody? I don't know how that works.
There's kind of a transparency piece to this too. So every single call, outbound or inbound, must now begin with the disclosure of agent location, right? Where they are, and also if it's AI or not.
Oh, wow, that's wild. Because I've called into call centers just as a customer saying, hey, what call center are you in? Because I always want to know who I'm talking to. One of the reasons I do is in case the call goes kind of wonky and maybe I need to let somebody know that rep didn't handle the call well. But it's also to find out who I was talking to for documentation. I have to call back and say, well, I spoke to Sally in the Buffalo call center, so on and so forth. But if they have to tell everybody, and sometimes people won't tell you, you call in and you say, hey, what call center are you in? They won't say it. When I call Discover Card, I usually get Columbus or I get Phoenix. But, and they usually disclose it. But this is good. I think this is all good.
That agent isn't in the United States, the caller must be offered to be able to transfer to someone who is in the States. So
that would be a mess. I mean, how are you going to get an agent in the States? Because of the call volume in the call center in the States, if the call volume's too high, you're going to transfer that customer into a queue that could be overwhelmed, and it'll just auto-transfer it back to whatever call center's available. So he or she could end up getting routed around the world for the next hour. I think that's how it works.
That's there in some states, but now it will become kind of a federal rule. Again, the same as we're talking about here with the offshore goes for AI too, right? Bots have to identify themselves. They have to and you have to have the option to then speak to a USA human.
So the bots have to identify themselves. So they must program the AI bots to say, I'm an AI bot. Would you like to speak to a human?
Annual certification of the FCC is now required. If you falsify your offshoring status, that will be an FTC violation.
Oh, that's huge.
So this thing has some real teeth.
Yeah.
And if this goes through, will I think really upend the offshoring. The other thing that I think what this will do is this will be a massive driver of onshoring of customer service jobs. But at the same time, because that expense is up, it's going to accelerate AI adoption across the industry, especially here in the States. So that's kind of where I feel like these kind of AI powered BPOs, like here at Expedia, this would be a like a godsend for us, right? Because we can help companies with their AI, but also have the USA agents and be in full compliance with everything. And also, we're going to get a heads up now on any type of federal contact center programs.
Okay. So I like the overall idea behind it. And here's the problem. In the United States, cost of living is so freaking high that if you really want to pay a decent wage and keep your employees happy, call centers, you've got to raise the basic rate to at least $20 to $25 an hour, which they will never do. Because the call centers are just a pain in the backside of these corporations. It's a necessary evil that they've got to pour millions of dollars into that they'd rather not. This could force them to look at AI as a replacement for all call centers. This is why somebody's got to get some laws in place to protect not just artists and actors and things like that from AI replacing them, but workers like this. Because there's millions of people in this country that rely upon call centers as their primary source of income. It keeps a roof over their head. It keeps food on the plate. Let's take a look at some of these comments. I find these comments to be really upsetting and disturbing. The first one says, yeah, you think Americans will accept $500 a month salary? And that's what some of these reps make in the offshore BPOs. And that's considered good money in India or South Africa. I don't know about South Africa, but in India or Pakistan, some of these places where they open up the call centers, that's a lot of money to those people. To us, that's a salary from like 1970. That back in 1970, minimum wage was like $1.80 an hour. So this person says entitled USA agents versus entitled USA customers. Oh, the bloodbath. Ah. Come on. Where does this guy get that we're entitled? I dare you to work in a call center. See how long you last. I bet you don't last more than 2 weeks. You'll be crying like a bitch. And if somebody calls you a pickle sucker and says your mother smells of elderberries. Bro, you don't even know torment a call center worker experiences. You have no clue. And I know this guy probably works in construction or something. You don't know what it's like to work construction, Pete. You don't know. I bust my ass 17 days a week to go smoke marbles at the bar down Billy Joe's Bar and Grill and bang my hacienda. That's perfectly fine. Deal with all of your entitled customers and pay 10 times higher the reps. Karen assisting Karen. They're calling us, the call center reps, Karens. This is insane. These people have absolutely no idea what life is like as a call center employee. Absolutely none. This woman's comment I don't understand. As an American call center rep, she's claiming to be a call center rep. These comments are interesting. That's true. That's an understatement. I had no idea Big Corps paid you so low. Very sad. It's not an easy job. I think she's talking to the overseas reps. I don't know how you could not know that. If you have half a brain, why do you think they're offshoring jobs to India? Why do you think they're doing that? Because they hate us Americans? No, because the Indians make like $1 an hour. And that's the way it is over in that country. They don't have to pay them a living wage because the cost of living is a fraction of what it is here in the United States. I can get like a 2,000 square foot apartment for like $600 a month over there. If it's even that much. This guy says, it's okay, but I've been working as a customer service rep here in the Philippines for a year now. Honestly, a lot of your callers are verbally abusive. Every call feels like dealing with adults having tantrums. That's completely true. Grown people acting like, they're owed something. Another person says, Karen representative versus Karen customer. These people are just talking out of their ass. They have no idea what they're talking about. I can't imagine the chaos. Rude reps versus rude customers, I guess. Good luck. This guy says, I'm 100% sure that not even Americans want to deal with how entitled some Americans can be. A part of this thing where the customer's being entitled is, first of all, they were fed the bullshit line, which is propaganda that the customer's always right. That was made up years ago by some schmuck in a marketing department. Make customers feel good. Make them think the corporations really care. The only thing the corporation care about is the money in your pocket. They don't care if you're happy. As long as you're paying, they don't care. And as you'll see in the documentary, all of this changed years ago when they started to lean on technology to route calls and look at metrics and money instead of good customer service. They do not care about you. And the customers call in and think, hey, I'm right. I'm the customer. I'm right. I'm always right. No, you're not. 90% of the time, I had a customer complain about something that was always wrong. And you had to figure out a diplomatic way to explain to them, you're dumb as a box of rocks. You don't understand why your account's overdrawn. You spent more than you have in the bank. Most people can't even comprehend what a negative number is. Imagine the Karen representative asking the Indian customer to speak English. Good luck finding employees with Filipino patience, America. Good luck with hiring people for $3 to $4 an hour rates. They do it. Not in America, but they do it overseas. Aussie customers are the IT customers for me. Left the America accounts behind and discovered Australia. Never been happier assisting people. They're not rude, they still polite when mad, and they don't curse. They know when it's their fault. Okay, great for the Aussies, I guess. I didn't know Aussies are Aussies like Canadians. Very polite. BPO business model can't afford American wages. Don't think a Karen will take $2 an hour job. I don't understand this. How did we end up being called Karens? The call center life, the call center career is an absolute mess. It's a horrific job. And it's really, for me, it wasn't the customers. Yeah, I don't mind being yelled at over the phone. I don't. It didn't really faze me. It didn't really affect me. I didn't really you can say what you want about my mother. I don't care. She's been dead for 33 years. I'm not about to get in a verbal altercation because somebody said something strange about my heritage or whatever. It was the supervisors and the maniacal metrics you had to meet. Do most of you know out there that call in the customer service and you've never worked in customer service, that the people you're speaking to have been given 2 weeks of training? Only 2 weeks of training to learn an entire catalog of products, an entire billing system, 7 to 12 different computer systems. They also have to learn how to sell. You have to be sales reps and customer service reps. Guys, most people are not born to be sales reps. Most people are not. The people who are successful at it have a certain knack for it, just like certain knack for being musicians, just like certain people have a certain knack for engineering. There's very few people who are very successful at sales. It is hard. And when you compound that with trying to be a customer service rep and learn how to do empathy, sympathy, and trying to not get sucked into the emotion of the customer and how to say certain words. You have to say certain words and certain phrases. You're constantly juggling all this shit in your head. You have 2 weeks to learn it. And some of you are like, well, man, I work construction. I had to work use a welding machine in like two minutes, man. And then I had to smoke a Marlboro through my ear. You don't know what tough jobs are, Hey, Billy, want to go over to the strip club tonight? But let's see what happens with the Keep Call Centers in America Act of 2025. It's just going to drive people to AI. They've got to find some type of way of, these companies make billions. Some of them make trillions of dollars. And you've got to tell me why they just don't want any people working for them. So they've got robots making their products. They got robots taking the calls. No one here in this country will have jobs. So who's going to buy all the crap they make? Who? No one of us will have any money because we don't have any jobs. I don't know. So what do you think? Do you like offshoring? Do you think the Keep Call Centers in America Act of 2025 is a good thing or is it a bad thing? Is it going to force the hand of corporations to stay here in America? Will they abide by it? And how are they going to enforce it? How are we going to keep a company that maybe secretly offshores to Zimbabwe or something? I don't know how they do that. Some of you know, let me know in the comments how they actually enforce customers to abide by these laws. Even if in place now, do they have to let somebody at the White House or at the Capitol know, hey, we're offshoring all our call centers to Zimbabwe. Thanks. I don't know if they have to do that or not. So let me know. I thought this was interesting. Leave you a comment there. Give me a thumbs up and comment. I hope you all have a good rest of the week. Today is October 1st. And we'll see what happens with this. Have a good day. Hasta la vista, baby.
But after all these years, my own demons fuel my tears and keep me on my knees. Now walk past my
See you later, everybody.
my heart is torn and tattered, my ego bruised.
Would you like fries with that? Would you like fries with that?